Intel just hired a new CEO and the stock is rallying. But is this really a turnaround or just a quick boost? After losing $16.6 billion in 2024 and cutting 15,000 jobs, Intel needs more than leadership changes to compete. Can Lip Bhutan fix the company's biggest problems? Let's dive in.
Here we're talking about Intel. They announced a new CEO recently. We know they've been having issues with their i7, i9 processors. You stay on top of that better than anybody, Gary. But we did see a stock rally with this new announcement. Thing number 4, Intel hires an experienced CEO. The stock rallies. Tell us more.
So you're right, Rob. Intel for its last 2 years has had issues with its i7 and i9 processors. For people who aren't so familiar, those are Intel's high-end consumer CPUs. That's not, what you're getting in the high-end servers. But if you want to buy a really good PC or a really good laptop, and you want Intel instead of AMD or one of the new Qualcomm ones, which I think could be good eventually, but aren't fully compatible with everything yet, or obviously there's Apple. But if you want Intel, which is still, I think, your best bet for business use in a PC or a laptop, the i7 and i9 processors are their best, highest end ones. The last 2 years, they've had horrible problems with the chips taking too much current, and they've burnt out the processors, and consumers had to fight with Intel to get reimbursement for it or to get replacements. Intel put a patch out, which people needed to have a certain amount of technical expertise to use. But the worst thing was, in order to handle or solve the power draw problem, basically what Intel did was they reduced the current that the chip could draw, and that reduced performance. So people were paying for high-end processors, but getting performance that was less than that. All of this led to big problems. Intel lost share in both the PC market and the server market to AMD, and the stock is just absolutely cratered. At this point, last week, they appointed Lip Bhutan as the new CEO. He's a seasoned semiconductor industry executive. He served as the CEO of Cadence Design Systems for 12 years. He sat on the board of Walden International, a VC firm, and that decision sparked a stock rally. Intel stock rose from, a little more than $20 to almost $24. And the hope is that they picked the right guy. He's got what it takes to steer the company in the right direction. Worth noting, he led Cadence Design Systems to a stock increase of more than 3,000%. So Intel's been struggling lately, but the hope is that they found the right guy to turn the ship around.
With him coming on board, Gary, what is that path forward for Intel? What does that look like to make their investors satisfied with the return and just the business in general?
Well, so Rob, one of the big problems that Intel has had is they have fallen behind in terms of the manufacturing. So the rest of the industry is really bifurcated. You've got companies like AMD and Nvidia that design their chips, but they outsource the production of those chips to Taiwan Semiconductor, which makes most of those in Taiwan, although they are going to be building here. They actually have started building here in the US, fab plants. Intel is one of the rare companies that both designs and manufactures its own semiconductors. And the issue with that is they have talked for years and years and years about getting to the same levels that Taiwan Semiconductor has been at, and they've just struggled doing it. And so they're making their silicon on, they don't have the same small nanometer production that Taiwan Semi has. And so there's talk that there could be a potential partnership, that Taiwan Semiconductor could basically buy the fab plants, do Intel's manufacturing, do a joint venture where they handle the manufacturing and Intel would just be a design company. That's one possibility. We're going to have to see, but there's talk about Intel going from being a design and fabrication company to just being a design company. And their designs are still pretty amazing. Like, when they're chips are working. They really are the best option for business use. If you are a gamer, if you're buying a PC to play high-end games, then you probably are already on the AMD processors. The other thing is, what I'm reading is that Intel has addressed a lot of its design failures with its new Core Ultra line. And the reason for that is the Core Ultra line is designed to compete with AMD's more power efficient chips and also Qualcomm's ARM processors. And if you think about it, we're used to having like laptops that have like a 5 hour life, a 6 hour life, but our cell phones, we're used to getting 20 hours from them or 25 hours. The deal is the Core Ultra line has a built in GPU, CPU, and NPU. It stands for neural processing unit, basically to handle AI kinds of things, handle some of the image processing or like blurring backgrounds on Zoom calls, that kind of stuff. All of those kinds of things on the new Core Ultra line have a very low power draw. And so what it's leading to is smaller batteries, meaning your laptop may be half a pound or a pound lighter. It's leading to longer battery use. So, your laptop, if it's on a Core Ultra line, may claim 18 to 25 hours of use before you have to charge it. And because there's a lower power draw, those chips aren't burning out. So, I'm hopeful. I think Intel is a really important company for the United States. I think it's important that we have semiconductor design and manufacturing here. It is a national security issue. It's the reason the Biden administration threw $40 billion at the CHIPS Act and to encourage companies to build fabrication plants here. And it's the reason the Trump administration has been working very hard and successfully, right? We talked about this a week ago. Between Apple and Taiwan Semiconductor. In the last month, we've seen $600 billion, more than $500 billion of intended investment here in the US. So I think it's important. We're hoping Intel gets this turned around. But as of now, the manufacturing capacity lags the best in the industry. And hopefully the new CEO gets that changed.
Awesome, Gary. Thanks for painting that picture. We're coming down the home stretch here in this week's version of the 5 things. Again, head to our website, deepknowledgeinvesting.com. Take a look at membership options. Use the Ask Gary feature. Or if anything, we'd love if you could subscribe or share this video content material. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Tell us what you like, what you don't like, and what we could talk about on future shows.